Hi everyone, today we're going to be making your new favorite Thanksgiving plate. First, what we have to do is wash it off. You're going to take the sponge and squeeze all the water out from the sponge and then wipe down your entire plate front and back. After you're done wiping down your plate, we're going to move on to the background color. I chose a light green color for mine. You can choose whatever you would like. The lighter the color, the more vibrant your leaves will show up after it's all fired in the kilns. We're going to do 3 coats to have a nice solid color for the background. After you're done with your 3rd coat and it's completely dry, we're going to move on to the dirt splatter for our plates. What we're going to do is we're going to take the toothbrush and we're going to dip it into our brown paint to get a nice coverage on the bristles. Then we're going to take our index finger and we're going to flick some of that paint right onto the plate there to have a nice splattered look. Now that my dirt splatter has dried, I'm going to take my leaf stencil and I'm going to arrange it on the plate how I like it. Now I'm going to take my sponge and I'm going to dip my colors into my sponge and get rid of the extra on the side on the table paper. So that way I have a nice blended look on my sponge. And then I'm going to take my paintbrush, push it down on top of my stencil, and start sponging away on top of my leaf to have a nice blended look. I did about 1 to 2 coats onto my leaves. I did this so that way there would still be a texture from the sponge left behind after they were fired in the kilns. You can do 3 coats if you'd like for a nice solid color, or you can just do 1 just to be easier and quicker about it. It's really whatever you would like the best. Before moving on to the next set of leaves, make sure you're letting your leaves dry in between, so that way you don't end up smudging your leaves or overlapping your colors into the next set of leaves. It makes it a lot easier if you let them dry in between before moving on to the next set of colors. When you are picking out your colors for your leaves, you can really choose whatever colors you would like. I just picked out some colors like yellow, orange, red, and brown, so that way they had that fall look to them, and I used those colors to make it look like the leaves were changing from one color to the next. Now that all my leaves are dry from my sponging, I'm going to peel off my stencil and I'm going to fix up any mistakes that I made while I was sponging on my leaves by using some Q-tips that we have at the studio to gently wipe off my mistakes by dipping the Q-tip in the water and then slightly rubbing it where my mistakes were made on my plate. Now I'm going to move our plate to the side and we're going to work on the lettering for our Thanksgiving plate. I picked out a stencil here at the studio. You can choose whatever kind of font you would like. You can use your own handwriting if you'd like. And you can do whatever kind of phrase you would like on your plate. I picked out the word gobble and I actually ended up spelling it wrong. I put 2 O's instead of 2 B's. So at the end, I just changed my second O into a B by making a straight line down. Now we're going to transfer our lettering from our transfer paper onto our plate. We're going to do that by taking a Sharpie, and the Sharpie is actually going to bleed through our transfer paper onto our piece. So I'm just tracing what I just did in pencil with my Sharpie, and it should bleed through onto my piece. And the Sharpie will burn off in the kilns, so I don't have to worry about it if I don't like the exact spacing of my lettering. Now that we have transferred our lettering from our transfer paper onto our plate, we're going to take a writer bottle that we have at the studio, and we're going to paint on our letters with the thin tip from the writer bottles. The cool thing about the writer bottles is they're 3 layers in one, so we only have to go over this one time for a nice solid coat. Now that my lettering has dried, I'm going to lightly sketch in my turkey feet. Turkey feet kind of just look like an arrow that has an end to them, and we're going to do this lightly with a pencil because the pencil will just burn off in the kilns. So if you don't like exactly the positions that you put your turkey feet in at first, we can always just rearrange them later with the writer bottle that we're going to use to fill them in with. After you're done sketching in your turkey feet with the pencil, we're going to take the writer bottle and we're going to now fill in that sketching with the paint. If you didn't like where you put your turkey feet like how I did, you can always just take the writer bottle and move your turkey feet in a different direction because the pencil will just burn off in the kilns, so we don't have to worry about those pencil marks showing up after. So we don't really have to follow those exact lines if you don't want to. When you are done using the writer bottle for your turkey feet, we are going to let the feet dry for a minute, and then we're going to actually move on to the back of our plate because we're all finished with the front. You can do whatever you would like on the back of your piece. You just want to make sure that you are signing your piece at the end, so that way you know it's yours when you come to pick up your beautiful artwork.